Hi everyone! It has happened. A carbon gurdy is on the market, and this one is by Wolfgang Weichselbaumer from Austria. This is a 21 strings gurdy made out of partly carbon and partly wood. The wheel is an interesting combination of different materials like different plastics and rubbers and I think even metal. And the tangents are a metal with rubber combo, similar to my other gurdies. This custom-made gurdy has a dropping wheel, lots of capos for all sorts of strings, and an electronic system that is made from 2 combined single coil pickups for the sympathetics, 3 internal microphones for the 3 main bridges, and 1 external microphone pointing at the wheel, all sent out as a 7-pole XLR and splittable with this little guy. So, what's so cool about carbon? Not only does it sound good, it also weighs little and is incredibly durable. I can take this one as a hand luggage on a plane, even though it is still a couple of centimeters too long, but you guys know my smuggling skills. Most of the hurdy-gurdies are made fully out of wood, and wood is alive. Kind of, or at least it was. And although wood looks and sounds great, it does have downsides for a touring musician like me. It does get affected by temperature and humidity. Now, Weichselbaumer's new carbon model is made out of both carbon and wood. And while the whole backside is one beautiful piece of bended carbon shell, the top layer is a delicate spruce. The combination of the two allows the whole body to be much more durable and lightweight. I think it's beautiful how you can just dress it up or down, depending on how many extras and accessories you need on your instrument, and it would still make a perfect fit for either a beginner or even up to a pro. In fact, this is the most dynamic, reactive, and alterable gurdy I own. Wolfgang told me that he gets inspired by violins when he builds his instruments, and this is where we have to look at the new wheel. The wheel! The wheel, guys, the wheel. It does not need cotton. This is a revolution. I mean, forget this video and then also forget this video because we're starting the thinking process completely new. I've tried both and compared the sounds. mean, think about it. Ever since the medieval times, gurdies had wooden wheels. That's what the people had back then. Up until the first plastic wheel has been made. And now we have a sophisticated combination of a rubber texture and on top a thin plastic layer, which all sits on a spoke wheel. Now you can not only see through the wheel, also the sound waves in the body can move freely. The rubber layer makes the bow a bit bouncy, just like a violin bow's hairs. You also wouldn't expect the wooden backside of a bow to sound as dynamic as the bouncy hair side, right? That's what Wolfgang thought. I mean, and I kind of feel dumb for never questioning that. Now, you can imagine that the whole feeling of playing this instrument changes a lot, and you have to, in fact, relearn a couple of things. For example, the right hand feeling when you try to fiddle. I now try to incorporate much more movement in my wrists and fingers. Oh, have I showed you the dropping wheel yet? Now I can get the wheel down from the strings within a second to play pizzicato, which means plucking the strings. Or use fancy bowing techniques that sound a lot like violin bowing. I can just unscrew those 4 little screws a tiny bit and then it gets very movable. That's a pretty inventive gurdy, you might say. And at this point, I would like to clear up about some misconceptions about Wolfgang Weichselbaumer. Ever since I placed a foot into the gurdy community, I heard the following things about him. His instruments are so expensive and you have to wait for like 4 years to get an instrument. Also, there are some split opinions about his instruments because some people say a gurdy shouldn't be sounding like a violin. But I have to tell you, nah! As always, it's a matter of taste. If you ask me, I would use a traditional sounding gurdy for complete different kinds of music as I would use this one for. The playing experience itself has never been so floating and direct at the same time. His smallest model, Allegro, is currently sold for 3k euros, which is really not much for an amazingly handcrafted instrument. Also, his waiting time obviously depends on the kind of model you choose. So if he's, for example, building carbon RTPs at the moment, he could still put you on the list and you might be getting your gurdy within a year. How long did it take you to build this gurdy?
Oh, it's around 2 or 3 months.
2 or 3, okay.
Yeah.
You even hurried up for me because
Yes,
I was gonna play in Wales. That's
Especially for you.
Oh, thank you. He builds several bodies at a time. So it's a bit like they have twin or sibling gurdies. And if he's making one sibling family of gurdy bodies, he could still put you on the list and make an additional one for you. So your waiting time would just be like a year or so. This is a completely new carbon series and I'm getting the very first one, which is a super big honor. Thank you so much.
Number 1.
Number 1. Speaking of prices, I think this gurdy sells for around 6k right now. If that's wrong, I'll put you the right number here. It might differ because the prices change every year and I ordered mine last year. So if you want all the accessory that I have, all the capos, this sick electronic system and the drop wheel, then you're gonna have to get ready to pay 10k. I know that sounds like a lot, but think about it like this. This is a high-end hurdy-gurdy. If you were to buy a high-end violin, for example, you're gonna have to get ready to pay, I think, maybe several hundreds of thousands of euros, if not up to millions. It's pretty much without an end. And I mean, look at it like this. Millions of euros compared to 10,000. Which instrument would you choose? Now, I don't only want to be bragging about this gurdy, so what are the downsides I've found so far? It does not come with fine tuners for the sympathetic strings. I kind of miss those. I'm having a hard time getting them in tune with this big primitive peg thing. But I think they're relatively easy to add yourself, so I might just go get some myself and build them in. I got it out of the box and got straight over to Wales and was able to play with it without any problems, and this deserves my respect. So it totally deserves the name RTP, ready to play. Or as I like to call it, as good as idiot proof. Now there's another information that I'm sure will make many of you very happy, which is Wolfgang ships worldwide. I'm gonna leave his website and his email address down in the info box, so if you have any questions or want to order one, you can just write him a mail. Anyways, I do want to make you aware of some important details when placing an order from a gurdy maker that is not in your country, that might have completely different temperature and humidity. Even though carbon is extremely durable, and I reckon it can resist temperatures from -20 degrees to up to 50 degrees. Remember that the top layer of the gurdy is the weakest part. Humidity at around 60% sounds best. 30% and up to 80% is the pain threshold for the gurdy, so don't go over that. Obviously, he will make sure that the transport is safe, but if you have any other questions, contact him. Also, this part is not a standard part of the gurdy, but I wanted one anyways because I play live so much and that's just more secure. Whew, I think that's it. I probably totally forgot some parts about this gurdy, but if you want it, I can just make an updated video whenever I have set it up to my liking. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. It's been a joy to present this to you because I'm really feeling like this is a kind of revolution for the whole gurdy community. Thank you very much. Feel free to subscribe and see you soon.